today we're going to talk a little bit about my collection, my very first collection that I'm releasing on my website, and I'm really excited about this. It's being released on Friday, which is probably going to be before this video is released, if not the same time. But yeah, this is my very first painting collection that I'm releasing online, and I've been really excited about it. I've been working on it for the last few months, and it's called Petite Views Collection. So it's a collection of 11 mini oil painting landscapes. So this is just an example of one. I don't know if it's going to focus on it. But I have kind of two mini series within this collection, and I think I have about 5 or 6 paintings that are kind of warmer toned, like this, pinks and terracottas, and then the other ones are kind of like a more muted greens, soft, kind of like vintage feel to them. So they're kind of near and dear to my heart, and I do hope that they sell once they're released. But I think I'm gonna miss them also, because they're just really charming. And one of the most special things that I love about these is that each one of them has a gilded edge along the side here. So you're meant to leave them unframed. So when you set them up on a shelf, you can prop them up on, like, on some books against the wall. And they're just supposed to be like this cute, this little nugget of beauty in your home. And I had so much fun painting them. Like I often paint with a lot of detail in my paintings. I just naturally gravitate towards working the paint and bringing out realism, whether I want to or not. And so this collection was kind of an exercise to paint a little more loosely and freely and expressively. And in doing so, I was able to preserve a lot of the brush strokes in the paint, and it's just something really delicious about seeing the thick impasto brush strokes. If you don't know what that means, it's like kind of thick, almost if you imagine painting with frosting. And that's one of the qualities that I love so much about oil paints, and which is why I paint with oils, is I like that you're able to really preserve the texture in the paint while you're painting. And, it can really change depending on the types of techniques that you use and the types of brushes or palette knives that you use. But with these ones, I really focused on not overworking the artworks, but keeping it just kind of soft and gentle and fluid, and just kind of a little bit raw and natural. So I think I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the process. I did post a video on my YouTube channel like a month ago that walked you through the process of painting one of these. And so if you want to watch that, you can click the link at the end. I'll link that video at the end. But basically these are little MDF boards. And the first thing I do is I cover it in gesso, and that protects the MDF from the oil paint seeping in, but it also it helps the oils not to lose all of the oils out of the paint. So it creates a barrier between the MDF board and the surface of the painting. So I prime it with gesso, and then I went through and I put, it's an artificial gold leaf along the edges of these paintings. And then once that was dried, I went through with like a special varnish over the gold leaf edges. And then they were ready to paint. So I did that with 11 of them. I actually did that with like 30 of them, thinking that I might paint 30 of these little paintings. I had like initially started with it was like a painting a day project that was gonna become my first collection release. But after about 11 paintings, I felt like I was getting burned out, and I had a bunch of other projects going on. So I said, all right, I think it's time to just end it here. 11's great. By the way, in some of my videos, you're going to see me in my art studio, which is like a really dark room, and which is great for a lot of things. But sometimes I'm like craving this natural light coming in. So I'm actually sitting in my bedroom, and I've been doing a lot more painting in my bedroom. Bless my husband's heart. He's been kind of putting up with a lot of art supplies out spread across this wall. So that's why you'll see me in this area sometimes, which is different than some of my other videos. So I ended up with 11 total, and I think I spent just under 2 weeks painting them. So it was almost one painting a day. And it was just such a pleasure. It was so much fun. So I think what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you each of the little paintings that are going to be available on my website on Friday at noon Mountain Standard Time. So if we're lucky, I'll get this video out before then. Okay. Stop eating my hair. I am also a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool a couple of my kids. So
yeah, and I'm trying on kids.
So having an art business of my own is very exciting because I'm basically building it in between every moment with my family all day long. And it's an adventure for sure. Okay, we're back. Let's go look at these 11 paintings that are my very first collection. Also, this is kind of a sneak peek of what I'm working on now after this little collection launch is done. I'm working on lots of flowers. Big, bold, beautiful, almost a little more bright than I'm prepared for, but I just kind of can't resist it. I'm just kind of gonna chase this flower itch that I have. This is the painting I painted a month ago for a video, and you can find that on my channel. I'll link that at the end. 11 little paintings. And they do kind of vary in style just a little bit. And part of that is because I kind of changed direction a little bit during the collection, during the creation of the collection. So I started off with these ones here. So this kind of red rock taken from photos of my husband and I in St. George. And then I kind of ran with it and did some kind of farm landscapes inspired by where we live. And then I kind of transferred over. I switched color palettes and I painted these kind of subtle, more neutral, vintagey styled artworks. So I was thinking it would actually be really fun to show you how I'm going to box up these paintings and how they will look when they're opened. Oh, dang it. So I am in my bedroom, like I mentioned, and I just saw that there's oil paint on my pillow. Ugh. The thing about oil paints is it's almost impossible to get out, and especially bright red like that. And this is a cover that can't be thrown in the wash, so oh well. The story of my life since I was in high school. So these paintings are just about ready to go. I do still have to sign them and varnish them, and then they'll be ready to ship out. I also need to scan them because I don't just sell original art, but I license my artwork to companies, which basically means my artwork that I paint in real life, I then scan and I rent the digital version of my artwork to these companies for them to put on their products. So like I have a couple of paintings on Target.com through Kate and Laurel. And then I have artwork with another wall art company who does luxury hospitality. And then I have patterns with wallpaper and fabric and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really excited for this little collection launch, my very first one. I also accept commissions. And so if you are ever looking for original art for your beautiful home, you can send me an email and we can chat. Don't forget to watch this next video so you can watch the process of how one of these petite views came to be.